the 55th of the 69 stations of the Nakasendo. It is located in the present-day city of Mizuho, Gifu Prefecture, Japan. This post town received its name from Meiji, the temple which was located in Mizuho during the Edo period. Seido Dozen, during his reign of power, moved the entire temple to the present-day city of Gifu. A dopamine-releasing agent DRA is a type of drug which induces the release of dopamine in the body and/or brain. No selective DRAs are currently known. Many releasing agents of both dopamine and norepinephrine dopamine-releasing agents, or NDRAs, and of serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine are known. Serotonin-norepinephrine dopamine-releasing agents, or SNDRAs, however. Serotonin dopamine-releasing agents are much rarer and are not selective for monoamine release. Examples of NDRAs include amphetamine and methamphetamine, and an example of an SNDRA is MDMA. The most selective dopamine releaser is for methylaminoics, but it also has considerable activity as a norepinephrine releaser. These drugs are frequently used for recreational purposes and encountered as drugs of abuse. A closely related type of drug is a dopamine reuptake inhibitor drink. Various selective drinks are known, in contrast to the case of DRAs. It is particularly of note that the mechanism of action at the dopamine transporter DAD for dopamine releasers/substrates is entropy-driven, i.e. hydrophobic, whereas for dopamine reuptake inhibitors it is enthalpy-driven, i.e. conformational change. There is some, albeit mixed, in vitro evidence that the antidepressant and modestly selective drink aminoetine may in addition to inhibiting the reuptake of dopamine selectively induce the presynaptic release of dopamine without affecting that of norepinephrine or serotonin. Robbinsdale is a city in Hennepin County, Minnesota, United States. The population was 13,953 at the 2010 census. George Young, born July 24, 1937, is an American former track athlete and college coach. He won the bronze medal at the 1968 Summer Olympics in the 3,000-meter steeplechase and held several American records in events ranging from the 2-mile to the 5,000-meter race. He broke 2 world records in the indoor 2- and 3-mile events. A uricoteri, Japanese, or, literally, scale remover, is a utensil used in Japanese cuisine to remove the scales from the skin of fish before cooking. Alternatively, it is possible to remove the scales with a knife, but this is more difficult and there is a higher risk of cutting the skin of the fish, especially with small fishes. Knife scaling also risks cutting one's own hand. The uricoteri is pulled across the skin of the fish from the tail to the head repeatedly to remove the scales. The Electoral Suite Historic District encompasses a predominantly residential area of Fort Smith, Arkansas that was developed between 1890 and 1950. It is located in the large residential area east of Fort Smith's downtown, and extends along May and Letta streets between Rogers and Kincaid Avenue, not including properties on either of the end streets except for the Central Presbyterian Church and a short stretch of Sweet Avenue between Perry and Rogers. The streets are tree-lined, and the area was considered suburban when it was planted and development began in the 1890s. The houses of the district are mainly colonial revival and craftsman in their style, reflective of the principal period of development, between about 1900 and the early 1930s. The area was served by streetcars running down May Avenue until the 1930s. The district was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2008. The 22nd World Cup season began in November 1987 in Italy and concluded in March 1988 in Austria. The overall champions were Pirmin Zurbriggen and Michele Fidini, both of Switzerland. Zurbriggen won his third overall title, Fidini her second. Beginning this year, the limitation on the number of events that would count for overall and discipline championships, which had been present since the founding of the World Cup, was eliminated. The intent was to eliminate ties for discipline titles, although the first tiebreaker number of wins was retained. Additionally, this would permit skiers to accumulate more points toward the overall title from their strongest disciplines. A break in the schedule in February was for the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The alpine events were held at the new Nakisko ski area. As the Olympics was in the process of eliminating its prior ban on professionals being allowed to compete, Swedish star Ingemar Stenmark returned to the Olympics after having been banned in 1984. Although Stenmark still received his payments from sponsors at his Monaco address, not through the Swedish Federation. Accordingly, from this point forward, skiers were able to turn professional and still continue to compete in the World Cup, which caused the demise of the former professional skiing circuit within a decade. Henan province of China has one of the largest Christian populations of East Asia. There are believed to be several million Christians in Henan, most of them attending Chinese house churches. Henan is thought to have one of the most significant proportions of Christians of any Chinese province. Henan has one of the largest Protestant populations of the country. Many Protestants of Henan live in rural areas. On August 6, 2004, 100 house church members were arrested in Henan. During the Boxer Rebellion, Christians were killed. When All the Laughter Has Gone is the debut album by the